Welcome to another video, and today I thought instead of doing another fountain pen review, I would do something a little bit different. I had a question from Scott in the US asking me to take a look at Kaweco's twin calligraphy nib, so I thought I would look at all of their stub nibs and pit them against each other. Now, of course, we all know that fountain pens are fantastic and they elevate your quality of writing and your experience, depending on the paper you use, of course, and depending on the nibs you use too. But some people say stub nibs can elevate your writing even more. Now, I have used stub nibs in the past, but I haven't really been through all of the Kaweco nibs. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put them in into my trusty brass Kaweco Sport again, which I have never used. So this will be a fantastic pen to try. I'm going to use one of the Kaweco mini converters to suck up the ink, and I'm just going to change nibs on the fly, and it'll probably be a little bit messy here, but I want to see how all of the nibs compare with each other. Now, Kaweco have 5 sizes of nibs. They're the 1.1, 1.5, the 1.9, the 2.3, and the twin nib as well. And these nibs are exchangeable in the premium Kaweco pens. You can actually screw out the nib of the premium pens and insert another nib. And the nib comes in a collar as well, which I'll show you in just a second. So it makes it very, very easy indeed. So without further ado, let's get one of these nibs in the pen and give it a go. Okay, let's give it a go. I've got my 5 nibs here, starting with the 1.1 and ending in the twin here. And I've got my Kaweco Brass Sport, my mini converter. And I was telling you that you could change the nibs out very easily on the premium Kaweco fountain pens. And this is how you do it, actually. You simply grab the feed, grab the nib, and give it a little bit of a twist. Sure enough, the nib and the collar disengage and come out. And now you can put in another nib simply by screwing it in reverse. And I'll take that away. And I will put in the mini converter here, which just plugs in like any other converter, but of course it's a piston, so it sucks up the ink nicely from a bottle. So let's get this pen filled up, and we'll try the 1.1, and then we'll move on to the next nib. Okay, and that's full of this beautiful diamine terracotta ink, which kind of matches the brass a little bit. Now, the Kaweco Sport pens, you simply extend them like by popping the cap on the back, and now it becomes a full fountain pen. So let's give this one a quick go here. And nice. You can actually see the lines. The number, like a 1.1, for example, tells you how thick the line is when you're actually writing with it. So that would be a 1.1 line. Okay, let's try the next nib, which is a 1.5. Superb, we are good to go. So let's compare this line with the 1.9. Sure enough, it's a little bit thicker. Quite a lot thicker, in fact. And sorry, I said 1.9, I meant 1.1. Very nice. And it gives the it gives your writing kind of a different character than a regular fountain pen, that's for sure. But these nibs are actually not particularly stiff either. They write pretty well, actually. But I don't know if I would use it in everyday writing. Maybe. That's kind of neat. I like that. All right, let's go on to the next one, which is a 1.9. And you can see here I'm just getting the ink flowing, just pressing down slightly on the plunger there. And sure enough, the ink comes out of the nib Let's give this one a go. 1.9. So we've done 1.1 and we've done 1.5. So now this is, and I let myself down there for a second. Here we go. This is a 1.9. It's quite a lot thicker, this line, and I'm not sure how well this is going to write. Feels a little bit awkward in the hand, but of course my writing's terrible anyway. It's kind of neat though. I could get used to this. I feel like somebody out of the old days writing like this, something like ancient Britain. Kind of neat though, and not dry and not wet, but pretty neat. And actually you can just press down on it slightly as well. It's a pretty flexible nib. Not a flex nib, but a pretty flexible nib. Okay, let's try next one, which is a 2.5. There we go. Ink's up and good to go. Now I got to admit, the ink flow, I'm going to move the twin over here. The ink flow, the ink in the converter is going down very, very quickly, as you can imagine. There we go. And that's 2.5 line. Wow. I may well have to fill this up again. It's kind of neat. I got to say, it's kind of neat, but I think it would take some practice to get used to this type of nib for sure. All right, let's try the twin. That's the big gun there, and I'm actually going to have to refill this converter because it's a little bit light on ink right now. So let's do that very, very quickly here. Make sure you get the nib fully submerged. And there we go. Clean that off. I've got nice terracotta fingers right about now, but hey, we're having fun. All right. And this is a, if you can see that, very interesting looking nib. All right, so you can see the Kaweco twin nib there. It's got two slits in it, and it's got this little indentation as well because it actually writes with two lines. It doesn't write with one line. So let's give it a shot. Now I've filled it. I got some nice clean paper here, and there we go. Interesting. Huh. Question is, that's pretty neat. Even though I'm not particularly great at handwriting, I could have a lot of fun with this one. Maybe good for Christmas cards or something like that. Look at that. Very nice. I don't think that would be my everyday writer, but it's kind of neat. Gives you two lines. If you get the pen oriented right, it gives you two lines. Otherwise, it'll give you one. But yeah, that's a very interesting nib, isn't it? Huh. Would I use that every day? I don't think I would, to be honest with you, but I might write birthday cards with it. However, I get a feeling if it was in the hands of somebody who was excellent at writing or calligraphy, I think it would be a very, very awesome tool whatsoever. That's an interesting nib.